Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Software Engineer K here, and today we've got some pretty cool stuff to go through, quite a few controversial things. So we had the Spider-Man drop, so I just wanted to quickly touch on that. Specifically a few issues with that people experience with regard to mint numbers. I also wanted to touch a little bit on the kind of overall market as well, and kind of my thoughts moving forwards. We have the upcoming blind box drop coming up, so we received a bit more information in regards to that, and I wanted to touch on the price of Omi for today. So first off, if we go to Twitter, so we had the Spider-Man drop, and I will need to just mute my Telegram because people did complain about that. For some reason it just keeps getting unmuted. It is set to muted forever, but there we go. Okay, and it should stop now. So as you can see, I did get the ultra rare Spider-Man. Now I decided to go with the ultra rare rather than the secret rare, just because I can never ever get the most contested one. My device is just very slightly too slow, and that's just something I think either VeVe needs to resolve on their end, or maybe I just need to I don't know, get a device that I know will not have sync issues. Because I do have a Samsung Galaxy S21, a very new phone, but it's just always lagging very slightly. So with regards to the ultra rare Spider-Man, now firstly, the mint numbers, they appear to be different to when they were delivered. Now I just want to address this because I got asked this as a question, and basically what people were shown, and this is kind of what VeVe's come out and said as well, is the mint numbers that you were displayed on the green truck weren't actually the real mint numbers that you had received. My suspicion is the mint numbers that you were shown on the green truck is the mint number that you would have gotten had we still been on the old system of first come first serve. So if you got mint number 2000, which kind of like what I got, then that is the number you would have gotten in that queue that you were in. That being said, I suspect what they had done is, and this is kind of like an issue that I have with the product that I work on, is they populate the data for that banner that they're going to display, and they use that based on what number you are in that reservation queue, to determine what edition you're getting, and then afterwards, once that banner data has been populated somewhere, stored as some object somewhere, they randomize the mint number and then kind of do all of the backend blockchain stuff. And then that data that had been stored in that object, which had your reservation queue number, that initial mint number that you're supposed to get, that banner then gets displayed to the user. So essentially what they need to do is either update the banner with the true mint number or just hide it altogether. I think it would just be simple if they just hit the mint number so you don't know what you get until you get it. But people are saying, hey, they should give me the real mint number that I got from the banner. Now there's a couple of problems with that, very big problems. Firstly, that data I believe is being generated from your position in the queue, that mint number that you're getting. So firstly, I don't know if there is actually a way for them to kind of retrieve that from their backend, because I don't think that's actually stored in the database or anything anyway. I think it's just displayed dynamically at runtime. Secondly, if they were to do it, because it affected all users, they would probably need to actually roll back the blockchain, and that's something they're not going to do, as rolling back anything is just messy, because it involves like okay, let's just take example where they accidentally burnt too many tokens. They would have had to create a fork and then reverse the transactions, and it's just way too much work, and it's just not worth time, and it'll probably mess something else up. If they were to do it manually, they would kind of, assuming that they know what everyone's mint number is, they would have to sit there and manually go through each mint number, and people are just going to complain the process, and by now other people have probably sold their Spider-Man, so they're going to have to like pull it off from new holders of it if they want to give it to people the exact same mint number. It's just way too much manual work, and at the same time you have to remember that the CTO Michael Duffy, he's way too busy working on the Immutable X transition, so, and he's got a kid being born soon, so even that I suspect may suffer from some delays. We have the MTO that we kind of is taking up time on the development side. Like, it's just really not worth it. I mean, if anyone who did get an ultra rare or secret rare and they're unhappy about the mints, at least you got an ultra rare or secret rare. If you're unhappy about that, then I'm pretty happy to give you a refund. I will happily buy off you of whatever you paid for it, and I might even throw in a bit extra for your inconvenience. Yeah. So that is what it is. Now that being said, that put aside, there was another topic. So in the AMA, they talked about specifically the Marvel Mighties blind box, and there was some people kind of coming out saying, they're going to be the Marvel Mighties, the version that was released in conjunction with Marvel and forgot it was like some other brand, and they're like these kind of bobblehead looking things. Now, that was just more of a coincidence. It was another product called Mighties, but it's not this one that's being released. VeVe confirmed that this is an exclusive, first time they've ever done this. They've made something exclusively for VeVe, so you will not see this on another platform, because exclusivity is something that we always get asked about. So this is only going to be on VeVe. That means there is no physical version of this, and I believe that's got real collectible value because there's no physical version. It's not going to be available anywhere else. It's unique to VeVe. If you want this, it has to be through VeVe. So the first set we're going to be getting is the Captain America set. Now with the blind box, they also confirmed that when you buy the box, you will have to open it. You cannot sell it unopened. So yeah, you have to open it. But I think opening it is going to be pretty cool itself, because we know that Trevor's been working on the opening ceremony for that. And he did the one that was for the League of Legends card game. I think was it Legends of Runeterra? I think that was the game. And yeah, if Trevor kind of did that one, then I'm pretty sure he's done a pretty good job for this one. Now, that being said, price point is pretty good, $13, and it does solve a key problem that people have been complaining about, which was, hey, we need a way where what we get is kind of like randomized. It doesn't, it's not entirely based on a first come first served basis. People with poorer internet, they kind of get priced out of a lot of these collectibles. So he did say that people should be able to get a couple on the drops, because the editions will be high, but you won't know what you get until you open it. So even if you get terrible internet, once you get the whatever drop it is that you're looking for, even if you're the last person to get it, you will probably potentially even get the ultra rare. So I think that's pretty good. Now, what I did also want to touch on is just one other point, and that is the prices of these. So if I just scroll up, and I made this prediction where there were people saying the ultra rare is going to be 1.5k minimum. I sold one for 1.3k. I'm seeing them on eBay for even more than that. And it just didn't make sense to me, because my price personally for the ultra rare was around about 700 gems. And the reason why I gave it 700 is, firstly, 2,500 editions, and you guys know I kind of been using market cap from existing collectibles to calculate how much this should be worth. Now, the market cap for a lot of these season 1 ultra rares with even less editions, they were ranging around about 1,750 editions. They were going for 300, 400 gems. I was like, okay, roughly, if you multiply it, you can get the market cap. And I thought, right, what's the fair price for Spider-Man? Well, Spider-Man's got 2,500 gems, but at the same time it is Spider-Man, so it should be priced at least double what these season 1 ultras of less popular IPs such as Adventure Time were going at. And I thought that was already quite generous, but at the same time it's animated, so I added a bit more. So I felt 700 seems like a very generous valuation, pretty fair. That's where I believe it should be for the ultra rare. And then people were like, no, that's too low, it should be 1.5k, and that would just give it a ridiculous market cap. You're saying that the valuation of this is higher than the secret rare golden Moogly, which made no sense to me whatsoever. So came drop time, people, well, when marketplace opened, I straight away saw the price dump to below 1k. And then from there, it was pretty much a race downhill. And, I said 700, and the price kind of came down to about 777 when I'd looked. I know it came down a little bit lower than that, but it's kind of stabilized around about this low 800 range. That's where it is right now. And as we know, whenever a new drop comes announced, whatever was selling previously, it does tend to drop a little bit. So I suspect, when we get the Marvel blind box announcement, this ultra Spider-Man should drop a bit more to around about 700 range. I think that is a fair price valuation. And people will say, oh, you're just trying to lower the price because you didn't get it. Well, you know, I did get it, and you know, it wouldn't make sense for me to harm my own investment. But at the same time, David Yu, he did come out and say, if the floor prices is way too high after a drop, you know, if some things are being flipped for 5 times what they were retailing for, then he said that him and Dan Crovers, they've priced it wrong. Then they need to adjust the price. But at the same time, it's something that they don't want to do because it's going to hurt the you know, mainstream investors. And we kind of saw what happened here when Spider-Man was priced, you know, way higher than what the collectibles are usually priced at. You know, it just really affected the rest of the market. So something like that can actually put people off the platform. At the same time, I don't personally see any issues with them selling out. I think they will continue to sell out, but for their kind of the dynamics of the user base in terms of the mainstream investors, I think they kind of want to increase the number of mainstream investors versus you know, really speculative crypto people. So yeah, I think using market cap of existing collectibles is kind of like the best way of valuating these. I would personally never ever use, you know, things like eBay as a way to indicate valuation, because in the past we've seen Ultraman posters going for 5k. We saw Ultra DeLoreans right after the drop on eBay selling for $500 to $600, which were apparently a steal back then. Now they're barely over 100. We saw the ghost traps going for like, you know, $2,000 when, you know, in reality they dropped to like, you know, in the 300s for the Spider-Man. And the same thing is going to happen. People have short memories. They forget about these things. Whatever's the next hype thing, they'll end up going for. But yeah, we will need to see in the next 2 weeks what exactly happens to the price point, because once people have forgotten about this and start to sell off their multiples into whatever the next hyped up thing is, we'll be able to get a much more accurate gauge of the price. Now lastly, what I want to touch on is the price of Omi for today. So if we just have a quick look, Omi has come down a bit. It is kind of oscillating around this key area, this key zone here, where I said after the drop I suspect to come down. I believe it will come back down to this key point of support, but it is holding quite nicely here right in the middle of this zone. So what do I see is going to happen in the future? Well, I suspect we will probably come down further, just because yes, we are getting the burns, but all of this Marvel news was priced in. And once people kind of forget about the Marvel news, as well as the upcoming token unlock for the founders, I believe that combined will be enough to push the price down a little bit onto this key point of support here, this 0.27% range. And now, I've said this before, I don't believe the founders are going to dump, but it's a psychological thing. People believe the founders are going to dump, and so a lot of people will preemptively sell, and that's just going to cause, you know, some people to get liquidated, and then the price will drop down even further. That's just kind of what happens. But we'll have to wait a few more days and see, but I suspect the price will come down back to this key point of support here, 0.27, 0.28 range. But you know, we'll just have to see for sure. But that's pretty much everything I want to go through with you guys today. We do have the live stream coming on Wednesday, so do stay tuned for that. But as always, please do like, subscribe to support the content, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.